So, chapter 17. The Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. So, the process of bhakti is the process of acting in such a way that the Supreme Lord will be pleased. Then, by His grace, if He so desires and He reciprocates with our sincere endeavor to please Him, then He bestows upon us whatever He desires, and He will reveal and show His real nature to us. So we finished chapter 16, which is about the Payovrata system of worship. Within that Payovrata worship, Aditi properly performed it, but with her material desire. We know that even if we have material desires and we worship the Supreme Lord, then what happens? We become purified. There is no disqualification for worshipping the Supreme Lord. Akama sarvakama moksha kama udiyana tivrena bhakti-yogana chaita purusham. Whether you are full of material desires, have no material desires, or desire liberation, one should with great force perform bhakti yoga. So now Sukadev Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, and I will read the first verse. Sukadev Goswami said, O king, after Aditi was thus advised by her husband Kashyapa Muni, she strictly followed his instructions without laziness, and in this way performed the Payovrata ritualistic ceremony. And the purpose for advancement in anything, especially in spiritual life, one must strictly follow the bona fide instructions of the teacher. Aditi did this. She followed the instructions of her husband and guru. So this is the process of gaining knowledge. If one wants to gain anything, one needs instructions from a teacher. Now, as confirmed in the Vedic injunctions, Yasya Devi Para Bhaktir Yatha Devi Tatha Guru. Sveta Svata Upanishad 6.23. One should have complete faith in the Guru who helps the disciple make progress in spiritual life. As soon as the disciple thinks independently, not caring for the instructions of the spiritual master, he is a failure. Yasya prasada nagati kotopi. Aditi very strictly followed the instructions of her husband and spiritual master, and thus she was successful. Can someone read text 2.3, please? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Anandalal Prabhu, can you start?
Hare Krishna. Translations. With full, undivided attentions, Aditi thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in this way brought under full control a mind and senses, which resembles forceful horses. She concentrated her mind upon the Supreme Lord Vasudev. Thus she performed the ritualistic ceremony known as Payovrata.
Thank you.
Maharaj?
The foundational principle of the Payovrata ceremony was to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This was what Kashyapa Muni gave her before giving the details. It is that what the details are based on. The details that we are following in Krishna consciousness are different from the details of the Payovrata, but the foundational principles are exactly the same. Naturally, if one wants to please someone, then through one's activities one thinks of that person. because we want to do our activities in a way that this person is pleased. So that is the natural result. Bhagavad Gita 18:57. Setasa savakarmani mai sanyasya matpara buddhi yogam upasvitya matchita satatam bhava. In all activities, just depend on me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So, Krishna consciousness is a matter of consciousness. It's not a matter of externally performing the activity. It is a matter of consciousness. It means that we must become deep if we wish success. By thinking of the Supreme Lord, she brought under control her mind and senses, which resembles forceful horses. This is a very good example of forceful horses. We can say forceful runaway horses. The mind and senses usually run out of control, and to bring them under control is so difficult. This is the methodology. By always thinking of Krishna and always trying to please him. Now again, Srila Prabhupada is going to speak about foundational principles in the purport. So, and Prabhupada in the purport begins with Rupa Goswami's definition of pure devotional service. Now you can read the purport.
Okay, Maharaj. And this is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Anya Vilasata Sunyam Jnanana Kirmadi Anarvatam Anukullena Krishnano Salinam Bhakti Uttama. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19.167. One should render transcendental service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophy speculations. That is the called pure devotional service. One simply has to concentrate upon the lotus feet of Vasudeva Krishna. Savaimana Krishna Padara Vindyo Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18. Then the mind and the senses will be controlled and one can engage himself fully in devotional service of the Lord. The devotee does not need to practice the Hatha Yoga system, control the mind and senses. In his mind, his senses are automatically controlled because of unlike devotional service of the Lord.
Thank you. So just
Thank you.
fix your mind on Lord Krishna. Then someone else can read text 4, and then after that 5 and 6.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Antarangatulasi here. Translation. My dear King, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, dressed in yellow garments and bearing a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus in his 4 hands, then appeared before Aditi. Text 5. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead became visible to Aditi's eyes, Aditi was so overwhelmed by transcendental bliss that she at once stood up and then fell to the ground like a rod to offer the Lord her respectful obeisances. Text 6. Aditi stood silently with folded hands, unable to offer prayer to the Lord. Because of transcendental bliss, tears filled her eyes, and the hairs on her body stood on end. Because she could see the Supreme Personality of God face to face, she felt ecstasy, and her body trembled.
So the ecstatic symptoms are extended. These ecstatic symptoms are the external manifestation of the internal awakening of our relationship with Krishna. That is what happens when the soul is situated in its actual relationship with Krishna. The actual result of that is ecstasy. This is the natural consciousness of the soul, because now we have turned our back on Krishna. Krishna Boli said, Jiva Anadi Bayir Mukha. Ataiva Mayatare Daya samsara dukkha. Forgetting Krishna, the living entity, has been attracted by the external feature since time immemorial. Therefore, the illusory energy Maya gives him all kinds of misery in his material existence. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Sanatana Goswami. We need to turn again our consciousness toward Krishna with devotion. And that is the process of Krishna consciousness. This is the process that we are following. It is the process of turning towards Krishna instead of remaining opposed to him, the Supreme Lord. So now following are the prayers of Aditi. Can someone read text 7, 8, 9, and 10? Someone else 7, 10, 8,
Hare Krishna
9.
Maharaj.
Yeah.
Text 7. O Maharaja Parikshit, the demigoddess Aditi then began offering her prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a flattering voice and with great love. She appeared as though drinking through her eyes the Supreme Lord, who is the husband of Goddess of Fortune, the enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, and the master of Lord of the entire universe.
Yeah, we read first the text only, no purport. 8.
Yeah. Text 8. The goddess Aditi said, O master and enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, O infallible and most famous person, whose name, when chanted, spread all good fortune, O original supreme personality of Godhead, supreme controller, shelter of all holy places, you are the shelter of all poor, suffering living entities, and you have appeared to diminish their suffering. Please be kind to us and spread our good fortune.
Okay. Then text 9.
Text 9. My Lord, you are the all-pervading universal form, the fully independent creator, maintainer, and destroyer of this universe. Although you engage your energy in matter, you are always situated in your original form and never fall from that position. For your knowledge is infallible and always suitable to any situation. You are never bewildered by illusion. O my Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Then text 10.
O unlimited one, if your lordship is satisfied, one can very easily obtain a lifetime as long as that of Lord Brahma, a body either in the upper, lower, or middle planetary systems, unlimited material opulence, religion, economic development, and satisfaction of senses, full transcendental knowledge, and the 8 yogic perfections. What to speak of such petty achievements as conquering one's rivals?
So Aditi is describing the Lord's power in relation to the material world. It is not very intimate, but yet it is wonderful because she is conscious of him. She has offered wonderful prayers, glorified the Supreme Lord, and she said that if one gets your favor, my Lord, one can attain wondrous things. What is she what are these wondering things that she's considering? It's all on a material level. If you look at it, one can attain a long life, a body in the material world that, or either in the upper, the middle, or the lower planetary systems, unlimited material opulence, religion, economic development, satisfaction of the senses, transcendental knowledge, and 8 yogic perfections. These basically are the desires of a materialistic person. And she has approached that Supreme Lord in the full mood of that verse, Akama Sarvakama Va, with those material desires, and it is wonderful. But again, it is so limited compared to what Krishna can actually give. There is an irony there. She's saying you can give these wonderful things, but it is only on a material level. What she's asking is so insignificant. She's even not directly stating what she wants, but of course Krishna knows what she wants. He knows what all of us want, even if we hint it or don't hint it at all. He's fully aware, because we will learn from his response. It's very interesting. It doesn't speak her mind. She doesn't speak her mind, of course. We know that he knows her mind, and he will give something so wonderful, more wonderful than what she's asking for, that will not only solve the problem that she's asking, but will also elevate her, because she will have the Supreme Lord as her son, which she will love, and she will be loving the Supreme Lord. But there is irony. You can award these great things, and she's asking for very, very little. But the extent of what he actually can award in any sense comes later. It is exactly the opposite. He's going to give her her desire and fulfill her desire, and to Indra fulfill his desire, that they are going to get the heavenly kingdom, and the Supreme Lord is going to take everything from Bali Maharaj. Superficially, who is the winner, who gains, and who loses? That superficially it is Indra and Aditi who win, but of Bali Maharaj's mood of wanting to give everything to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates by giving himself to Bali Maharaj. Although he loses everything externally, he gains the greatest of jewels, the only jewel. And what price is too much to pay for the only wealth in existence? If one can give up something temporary to gain something eternal, then what a great deal is that? So we go back now to the purport of text 8. Six, 7,
Shall I read my rest?
8. When we are there, verse 8, the purport. Yes, you can read the purport.
Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of those who observe vows and austerities, and it is he who bestows benedictions upon them. He is worshipable for the devotee throughout the devotee's life, for he never breaks his promises. As he said,
which purport are you reading? From which text?
8, Maharaj. 8.
It starts with the Lord is addressed. Okay. It's I was but on the screen. It was wrong on the screen. You can continue.
Okay, sorry. As he says in Bhagavad Gita 9:31, Kauntaya pradijanihi name bhakta pranashyadi. O son of Kundi, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. The Lord is addressed here as Achyuta, the infallible, because he takes care of his devotees. Anyone inimical to the devotees is certainly vanquished by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is the source of the Ganges water, and therefore he is addressed here as Tirthapada, indicating that all the holy places are at his lotus feet, or that whatever he touches with his foot becomes a holy place. Bhagavad Gita, for example, gives with the words Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Because the Lord was present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it became a Dharma Kshetra, a place of pilgrimage. Therefore, the Pandavas, who were extremely religious, were assured of victory. Any place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead displays his pastimes, such as Vrindavana or Dwaraka, becomes a holy place. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare is pleasing to the ear, and it expands good fortune to the audience who hears it chanted. Owing to the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Aditi was fully assured that the troublesome condition created for her by the demons would now be ended.
The Srila Prabhupada, as commentators usually do, they go over each word and explain about the names of the Lord that she is calling. Like here in text 8, if we look at, I read the text again. The goddess Aditi said, O master and enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, O infallible and most famous person, whose name when chanted spread all good fortune, O Supreme Personality, original Supreme Personality of God, the Supreme Controller, shelter of all holy places, you are the shelter of all poor, suffering living entities. You have appeared in order to diminish their suffering. Please be kind to us and spread our good fortune. So, O Master and enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, this is what the Lord is. Everything is sacrificed. Sacrifice is ultimately for His pleasure. O infallible and most famous person. So that is one of His names, is infallible. He does not make mistakes. One can write a book or that anyway, then at the end all good fortune. Srila Prabhupada will speak on this because Krishna and his name are non-different. So one by one, Srila Prabhupada is going over the holy names of the Lord and says something about how the name is suitable for Krishna. So can someone else read a short purport of text 9?
Yes, Maharaj. Hare
Yes.
Krishna and Pranam. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 2.117, it is said, Siddhanta baliya chitte kara alasa, ihaha ite Krishna lage sudrudha manasa. Anyone trying to become fully Krishna conscious must know the Lord's glories as far as they are possible to understand. Here, Aditi hints at these glories. The universe is nothing but the external potency of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tatam idam sarvam. Whatever we see in this universe is but an expansion of the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as the sunshine and heat all over the universe are expansions of the sun. When one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he surpasses the influence of the illusory energy for the Supreme Personality, for the Supreme Lord, being fully wise and being situated in the heart of everyone, especially in the heart of the devotee, gives one intelligence by which one is sure never to fall into illusion.
What is Srila Prabhupada saying here? Is fully wise and is situated especially in the heart of the devotee. As one, it gives intelligence by which one is sure never to fall in illusion. So how can he in the heart of everyone and especially in the heart of the devotee, what does that mean? It is neutral in everyone's heart. Sarvaham Sarvabhuteshu namedveshu tistina priya. Is neutral, but he's only awarding results according to the modes of material nature. But in a devotee's heart, it is different. Dadami buddhyoham tam, yena mam upayantite. I give the intelligence, the buddhi yoga, the bhakti, by which he can come to me. So he is there in everyone's heart, that just like a judge, when a judge is sitting in court, people come and people go. He's there according to the law. They get, according to the law, they get a judgment. They get either a reward or a penalty. But when the son of a judge comes before the judge, he may look like he is the same, but he's not going to treat him in the same way. But yeah, because the son is beloved. So he's going to have some special treatment. That's the difference. The Lord treats the devotees according to their deepest desire in their heart. We will see this with Aditi and Bali Maharaj. So this, yes, that this was then. Yeah, we were. Anyway, so it said before, because we have read up to text 10, right? 10, yeah. Okay. So it said, when one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he surpasses the illusory energy. How can one surpass the influence of the illusory energy? It is so difficult, but it can be done, Krishna says, by surrender. For the Supreme Lord, being fully wise, is fully wise. That was the previous purport. That was purport. Was it here? Where he says fully wise? No. Anyway, I lost it.
It's 9.
9. It's 9. At the end. Yeah, that's here. How can one surpass the influence of the illusory energy? It's difficult, but by surrender. Because he's fully wise. It means he knows what is best. That he gives personal treatment to everyone if we surrender to him. This is an encouragement to us to give ourselves to surrender. Otherwise, we don't get this type of a treatment. So we can see that in the life of devotees. He gives treatment to devotees, just what they need to rectify them. So especially it's in the heart of the devotee. He gives one intelligence by which one is sure to never fall into illusion. So that is a gift. One surpasses the influence of the material energy because he is inspiring from within in such a way. He gives the buddhi, he gives the bhakti, the intelligence, so that one will not fall again into illusion, so that one will remain forever in his service. So this were the prayers of Aditi. She said, you can award so many wonderful things. All things she pointed out were on the material level. That I'm only asking you an insignificant thing, insignificant thing to do. Just kick out Bali Maharaj and his asuras, get them out of the heavenly planets. That's what she is asking, finally. Now, can someone read text 11 and 12?
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Prabhuji, can I read? I only
Yes,
read
Maharaj.
one purport.
Oh,
Thank you. Text number 12, translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, best of the Bharata dynasty, when the lotus-eyed Lord, the supersoul of all living entities, was thus worshipped by Aditi, he replied as follows.
And the reply.
Text number 12. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Mother of the demigods, I have already understood your long cherished desires for the welfare of your sons, who have been deprived of all opulences and driven from their residence by their enemies.
So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that the Lord knows everything. We may express it or may not express it, but He knows. So, Mother Sundari Gopi, please.
So, Maharaj, I had a question. When in the next time when Bali Maharaj becomes Indra, so of course he did not push anybody, but he's still a demon. Does he become a devotee? I mean, the birth is still a demon birth, right? Sorry, when he becomes Indra, is Aditi not upset that some demon has become sorry, so some demon has taken up the heavenly planet? Is she not upset later on when he officially becomes Indra?
Because Bali Maharaj is a pure devotee that in the garb of a demon. But
Yes.
he's the leaders of the demons, and he wants to satisfy the demons. And of course, I don't know, that's in the Bhagavatam, in the next Manvantar, that he will become, that he will become the Manu, the Indra.
Indra.
Indra in the next, in the next Manu.
So his birth won't be any more a demon birth, right? So he will be like somebody else other than a demon.
He had never got to be a demon birth. He was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj.
Yeah, but they're all demon.
Externally, but internally, he was
Okay.
in a family of pure devotees.
Okay.
Prahlad Maharaj was a role model of pure devotees.
Yeah.
So Bali Maharaj is not a demon. That's
Okay.
wrong. He's
I
a
mean, by
pure
birth,
devotee.
I was like, so any by birth, it doesn't matter whether anybody is by birth anything, but he also can become Indra.
Yeah. Well, if you do 100
Yeah,
Asvamedha,
100.
yep, and
Yeah.
you have
That
sufficient piety, you can become Indra.
right.
But he will do the needful. He's a pure devotee. He has the piety to
Right.
go to the heavenly planets. But not the demons. Well, he because he is a pure devotee. He's
Right.
not interested in going there, but he has the service to be the leader of the demons, and he plays his role very nicely. Yes.
I was just concerned about how Aditi would feel that, my sons are not becoming Indra. Diti's children are becoming, I mean, because all the demon births are from Diti's side. Would she like want to do another Payovrata,
Well, the first question is, did she read the Bhagavatam? Did she know that he will become Indra?
Okay, yeah.
Probably not, because
No.
otherwise she would know what will happen.
Right.
That she did not read the Bhagavatam. So it's not of a concern that because next Manu, Aditi will not be there anymore. She will be in another form. She may have gone to the spiritual world. She may have got another service, but she will not be there anymore. It becomes all without meaning. No meaning. We don't remember our previous lives. We had so many issues, so many relatives. Are you still concerned with them, with your mother in your previous life? Well, what's the point? Huh?
Right.
But he was externally a demon, and by the externally a demon. And of course, Bali Maharaj said, I had this bad association of these demons, but he had a good association of Prahlad Maharaj. Even if you are a pure devotee, if you are the leader of the demons, you become influenced by these demons.
Yes.
And something is there, yeah. But Bali Maharaj, he could go to the heavenly planets, but he did not have the material piety, because a devotee is
Hmm.
material is not interested in material piety. Is also not interested in the other side, the impiety. But he wants to serve Krishna. And that is Bali Maharaj, a pure devotee. So a devotee, because he doesn't have karma. Because when you become a devotee, you lose your piety and your impiety. It's gone. So then it doesn't have the piety to go to the heavenly planets. Okay.
Yes,
But these are all considerations. Good.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Adichandra Govinda Prabhu. Sir, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Pranam Maharaj.
Correct.
Probably, I think my question also half answered in your description, like in your explanation to Sundari Mataji's answer. But still, I just want to ask that, see, being a exalted and the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, that Bali Maharaj, how he is still in this material world? He is supposed to go to the higher planet, I mean, the spiritual world, or I mean, he should be getting liberation and he should be serving the Lord in the spiritual abode. So, but exactly, you mentioned in between, your Holiness had mentioned in between that, okay, of course, he might be serving Krishna in that post, but is that answer, or you have some other explanation, Maharaj? Because yes, a devotee, I mean.
Well, Jai and Vijay had to come to the material world to serve the Lord as demons. That was the will of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, the Lord engages his pure devotees in service. And that can be in the material world or the spiritual world. And who is the best leader of the demons that you can imagine? It's a pure devotee. So this is all happening by the will of the Lord. That, yes, Prahlad was born in a family of demons, but his grandson was also a great devotee. So yes, it's the Lord decides where his pure devotees have to serve. And that can be in the material or the spiritual world. And,
Okay, thank you.
So someone asked Srila Prabhupada, a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, what was the earliest moment you remember that you became Krishna conscious? Prabhupada replied, I cannot remember any moment in my life that I was not Krishna conscious. What does that mean? If you are Krishna conscious from birth, do you have to come to this material world? No, it was Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. This is in the book of Lochan Das Thakur, one of the biographies of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Mangal. There it is said that Lord Chaitanya sent his Senapati Bhakta. He was sent by Lord Chaitanya. And then Srila Prabhupada went to America. We have just learned in the previous chapters that these demons were more elevated than the demons in this age. These demons took the advice of the Brahmins. Are the demons today taking the advice of the Brahmins? That do you see Trump asking the Brahmins, what should I do? No, no way. The leaders today will not take any advice of the Brahmins. So Prabhupada was put in a situation worse than Bali Maharaj in that sense. So that we can learn from Prabhupada. I hope that helps. Good. Yadaraj Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, regarding the question asked by Mati just now, can we understand that the moment Vamana Bhagwan placed his foot on Bali's head, Bali Maharaj became purified and became a pure devotee? Can we understand that?
Bali Maharaj was certainly educated by his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj. He was trained in devotional service. And that surrender to the Supreme Lord was in his heart. And therefore, he never trusted Sukracharya. He knew he was a Karma Kanda man. But why did he follow Sukracharya? The demons will not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are interested in enjoying. And Sukracharya gives them enjoyment according to the scriptures. And that is one step forward. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj was advising the demons to follow Sukracharya. But in his heart, he could not follow Sukracharya. He had the instructions of his guru, Prahlad Maharaj. That was his real guru. That will come out in the next chapters. How he will reject his guru and become famous. By that, he will become a Mahjan. Because the guru has to tell you how to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to give everything to Krishna. And Sukracharya said, don't give anything to Krishna, because otherwise you give also away my wealth. And what will I do? How will I exist? Was materialistic. We will all learn that in the next chapters. Okay, then we can continue. We're reading 12. Okay, now can someone read text 13?
Yes, Maharaj. O Devi, O Goddess, I can understand that you want to regain your sons and be together with them to worship me. After defeating the enemies in battle and retrieving your abode and opulences.
So there is devotees in there. This is part of Aditi's purpose. It is not totally mundane, because in fact they are all devotees. Text 14. Yeah. Can someone else read 14, 15, and 16?
Yes, Maharaj, sure. Hare Krishna. Text 14. You want to see the wives of demons lamenting for the death of their husbands when those demons, the enemies of your sons, are killed in a battle by the demigods, of whom Indra is the chief. Text 15. You want your sons to regain their lost reputation and opulence and live again on their heavenly planet as usual. Text 16. O mother of the demigods, in my opinion, almost all the chiefs of the demons are now unconquerable, for they are being protected by Brahmins, whom the Supreme Lord always favors. Thus the use of power against them now will not at all be a source of happiness.
So this is quite mysterious. The Lord is giving his opinion. His opinion carries more weight than I give my opinion. His opinion means that this is reality. Very interesting. Lord Krishna has set up a system. So this is more or less like a judge saying, there is something in place here. One cannot just go against the law. There is a system. There is a universal management system, and even I won't go against that law unless I really want to. And I don't really want to in this case because they have another plan to make another point. One could expect the law to say, yes, I will do this. I will remove them immediately, but it doesn't speak like that. You pleased me, but what you are thinking just to remove them, that will go against the actual system of universal management. And I set this up for good reasons, because I'm the Supreme Lord. And the Varnashram system, the Vedic cultural system, there's no reason for that. So it should be followed, but yet I will find a way to fulfill your purposes in such a way that it is harmonious with the system. It is interesting what it's going to do. So it's a little tricky. that Sundari Gopi, please.
So Maharaj, here Krishna is saying that you want to see the wives of demons lamenting. So did her heart not change that? No, no, I don't want to see anybody lamenting. The way Dhruva, when Krishna came, he says, no, I was looking for broken pieces of glass. So his heart changed seeing the Lord. But hearing this, her heart didn't change that, I don't want to see anybody lamenting. I
Yeah.
mean,
Of course, it's the Supreme Lord who is speaking. He's in everyone's heart. That
so he knew that she wanted to see them lamenting.
it must be that either she had anger before, or whether she has still anger now. That I don't know. But it must have been there because the Lord is
Verbalized it. Yeah, he
yeah,
verbalized it.
yeah. Because the Lord is in everyone's heart. We cannot, yeah, we cannot doubt that. But finally, it will purify her because
Yeah.
it will pure. That is also what Bhujam Prabhu said. Yeah, she gets now the Lord as her son. And you can be materially attached to your son. So she will become very attached to her son, but the son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by that she will become detached. So that's the tricky part. The Vamandev gives all blessings like that. But she will become further purified by this. Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
So that was. Did we read 17? Not yet. 17. Can someone read 17?
Thanks, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yet, because I have been satisfied by the activities of your vow, O goddess Aditi, I must find some means to favor you. For worship of me never goes in vain, but certainly gives the desired result according to what one deserves.
Yes, that is quite assuring. But it may not happen according to our plan. When we take the spiritual path, we expect it to work in a particular way. So I'm following this process for so many years. So what is the result? When I started this process, then they taught me that this was going to happen and that was going to happen. I never get sick, I never be poor, but I've seen that this is not what is happening. So does that mean that it doesn't work? It doesn't necessarily mean that Krishna is involved in what we think, well, that we think is working or not working, but very often it is. Sometimes we are doing something really, really wrong, and that is why the result isn't coming. Or maybe the process isn't proper, or, which is more often the case, Krishna has his own way of doing things. We may want so many things, but who is the center of our thinking? It's still me. And there is not yet bhakti born in our heart. Therefore, we can be in the spiritual world, not because Krishna is putting up a roadblock, it's because no one is allowed to enter unless the heart is full of love of Krishna. We need to have that visa before we be allowed in the spiritual world. So then why doesn't Krishna then not just give it to me? It is not easy to understand the extent of selfishness that we need to give up in our heart, and to understand how dirty that our heart is. It is hard for us to fathom. We take lots of things in our baggage on the airplane that we really don't need. A lot of things we carry with us. Not only are they unnecessary, but They are unwanted, in fact. They are petty. They are there for a long time and we are attached to them. So many things in my room and house, I'm attached to them and I can't take them with me. But what can we take with us? That is the positive side. We can take with us who I really am. And that is wonderful. Text 18, can summary text 18, 19 and 20.
Text 18. You have prayed to me and properly worshipped me by performing the great Payovrita ceremony for the sake of protecting your son. Because of Kashyapa Muni's austerity, I shall agree to become your son and thus protect your other sons. Text 19. Always thinking of me as being situated within the body of your husband, Kashyapa, go worship your husband, who has been purified by his austerity. Text 20. Oh lady, even if someone inquires, you should not disclose this fact to anyone. That which is very confidential is successful if kept secret.
Okay, I'm going back for a moment to 18. It says, because of Kashyapa Muni's austerity, I shall agree to become your son and thus protect your other sons. So it's because of following the order of the Guru. Because of the Guru, then this is the reason the Lord gives that he agrees to do this. And that text 20. O lady, even if someone inquires, you should not disclose this fact to anyone. That which is very confidential is successful if kept secret. So he says, do not disclose this fact. Which fact? That he agreed to become her son and to protect her other sons. What is he going to do? He's going to regain the kingdom. What happens? Vamandev is going into the assembly of Bali and do some begging. So he's saying, don't tell them what I'm really going to do, but this is just giving the general principle here. That it's a particular point of diplomacy. If you want to have all your plans ruined, tell them to your enemy. But anyway, can someone else read text 21, please?
Text 21. Shukadev Goswami said, after speaking in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead disappeared from that very spot. Aditi, having received the extremely valuable benediction that the Lord would appear as her son, considered herself very successful, and with great devotion she approached her husband.
Yes. So the Lord could have satisfied her desires in various ways. But when Krishna does something, he does it in his own way, a special way. That gets the mission accomplished. Is the wise man situated in everyone's heart? He will do it in a way that serves many, many purposes. Not just the one purpose that we have in mind, which can be gross. So what is one of his other purposes? One of his other purposes is to remove the demons and to reinstall the demigods. And he wants to give some special mercy to Bali Maharaj. He actually wants to give himself to Bali Maharaj. And he does not want anyone in the way of his plan. The Lord disappeared from that very spot. That doesn't mean that he's not there anymore. He's all pervading. But he became unmanifest in the eyes of Aditi. Text 22, please. Please read.
Text 22. O king, being situated in a meditational trance, Kashyapa Muni, whose vision is never mistaken, could see that a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead had entered within him.
So, plenary means complete or full. This plenary part does not diminish the Supreme Lord at all. In addition to his part is to this part is equal to because this part that enters Kashyapa Muni is equal to the Supreme Lord. That's Asintya Shakti of the Lord. It's not material. So Kashyapa Muni understood the Lord as entered within him. Text 23.
Text 23. O king, as the wind promotes friction between two pieces of wood and thus gives rise to fire, Kashyapa Muni, whose transcendental position was fully absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transferred his potency into the womb of Aditi.
So this wasn't an ordinary sexual activity. The Lord was in the heart of Kashyapa Muni. And now you can also read text 24.
Text 24. When Lord Brahma understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was now within the womb of Aditi, he began to offer prayers to the Lord by reciting transcendental names.
Yeah. That you can also, I will start reading the purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead exists everywhere. Adantara Paramanu Shayantara Stam, Brahma Samhita 535. Therefore, when one chants his transcendental names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is automatically pleased by such Sankirtan. So he is pleased by the sincere calling of the devotee for him. It is not that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is absent, he is present there. And now we go to the end. That it is not that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is absent, he is present there. And when a devotee utters a sound, the transcendental name, it is not a material sound. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not really pleased. A devotee knows that the Lord is present everywhere, and that one can please him simply by chanting his holy names. Mother Antaranga Tulsi, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had one question in regard to verse 22. So in verse 22, we find that the way it is explained in Bhagavatam, that Kashyapa Muni, he was situated in meditational trance and he could see the Lord entering him. And even before, when we saw in the last chapter, Aditi approaches Kashyapa before receiving the Payavrata process, the way he instructs her to take shelter of the Lord. So it appears that Kashyapa Muni is a pure devotee or very advanced, spiritually very advanced person in Krishna consciousness. But in third canto, we see when he met Diti, at that time, we see that Prabhupada explains the purport that because Kashyapa Muni was not a bhakta like Haridas Thakur or was not a devotee in the Bhakti Yoga process, rather he was in the Ashtanga Yoga process, therefore he succumbed to Diti. So, so can we understand that after that incident, and then Kashyapa Muni took to Bhakti Yoga, and in this chapter now he is a very advanced Bhakti Yogi? Is it like that?
No, that's not what I understand. Kashyapa Muni, he was a mystic yogi, and he came to the point of meditating on the Lord within his heart. He came to but he was not a bhakta, he was a mystic yoga and Astanga yoga. So he realized I'm not his body, and he was in contact with the spiritual energy, but he was not a devotee. And that's the problem. Then one can come to the level of liberation. But even if one is on the on Nishta, the liberation, when one does not come to Bhav, one can always fall down. And therefore, he was not so strong that as Haridas Thakur, but he was also, but still he was very advanced. Because before, yes, when Bali entered the heavenly planets, then sometime later Kashyapa Muni came back. He had been 1 year in trance on the Supreme Lord in his heart. So that's very advanced. That's very advanced. But even if you are very advanced, if you find Paramatma in your heart, and you don't develop devotion, and you don't understand Paramatma is an expansion from the Supreme Lord. Because then one realizes Paramatma is controlling material energy. And that is the goal of yogis. They end, if they get that, mostly they don't get to that. They are deviated by mystic powers, or they have the idea of merging with the impersonal Brahman. So they don't get to that. But he got to that, to that point. But still, if you come to that point, you get a perfection of yoga that is still an intermediate goal. The final goal is love for Krishna. But to develop love for Krishna, you must accept the Supreme Lord as the goal of life. That Astanga yogas, they are not on that level. And so therefore, but it's an intermediate yoga. Therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Sarvadam Pachyamam Kam Samvacha. Give up all the other paths. Take to Bhakti Yoga. Because it are intermediate goals. And we are also going to these intermediate goals, but just by chanting. Anyway, that is interesting. It's quite subtle, the whole thing. But Kashyapa Muni was not a Bhakti Yoga. It was an Astanga Yoga, and that makes the whole difference. But it's a very difficult process, especially in this age.
So we can say that Kashyapa Muni was very, very advanced. He attained perfection in the Ashtanga yoga process almost. He had Paramatma realization.
Yeah.
He could see the Lord in his heart. He knew the Lord is a controller in everything. And he was acting on that platform. So therefore, he was able to receive Vamana as his son.
Yeah, because the Astanga Yoga, when he receives perfection, his heart is pure. And he was on the transcendental platform. You have 3 levels of transcendental platform. And yeah, you have Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. He was on the Paramatma level.
Okay.
But,
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah. Good. Mother Lila Mai Rukmini.
Bharat, just continuing with what Mataji said, but yet we find that he is advising his wife to pursue bhakti because he is in the Payavrata, as you were just saying, the idea was to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So,
Yeah, that was the order he got from Brahma, that to populate the universe to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he gave this process of the Payavrata, which he got from Brahma, that he got he gave that to Aditi so that she could purify herself. That, of course, this was another time that I think this was still in this Bali Maharaj, because the story of Hiranyakashipu and so on was in Satya Yuga. The process of Satya Yuga was meditation, was Astanga Yoga. And he practiced this according to the age. Everyone was qualified at that time. People were much more qualified that, to perform this yoga system. But of course, Brahma is a pure devotee. And he explained to all his sons this process of devotional service. And he gave this process to Aditi, because he knew Aditi will not be able to follow this Astanga Yoga. She was not on that level. So you follow the process given by Brahma, and by that, yes, that he followed. It came to the Guru Parampara, this process, from Brahma to Kashyapa Muni to Aditi. So that was the Guru Parampara. That why did Kashyapa Muni himself not follow this process of Bhakti Yoga? The process for the age was Astanga Yoga. But he had certainly some love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That because even Astanga Yoga without Bhakti cannot be successful. So he had love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he did not practice somehow or another this process of Bhakti Yoga. And my understanding is it was Satya Yoga, and the process for Satya Yoga is meditation. I hope that helps.
Yes, Maharaj. But then I get the question that, however, we see that Prahlad Maharaj was also in Satya Yuga, but he followed the process of bhakti as he was told by Narada Muni rather than practicing the process of meditation. Isn't that right?
Yeah, his spiritual master was Narada Muni, and Narada Muni is the son created by Brahma when he was meditating on bhakti. So naturally, Narada Muni gives bhakti to all his followers, also to Dhruva Maharaj and so on. Yes, that's he had the right spiritual master, Prahlad Maharaj. But also Kashyapa Muni is a bona fide spiritual master, because he got the process from Brahma and gave it to Aditi, that through the Guru Parampara. So it was a bona fide process, although he himself did apply Astanga Yoga, but probably it was Astanga Yoga mixed with Bhakti. But certainly, Prabhupada writes in that purport, he was not so strong as Haridas Thakur, because his main focus was not Bhakti, it was mixed with Astanga Yoga. Yes.
Maharaj, just also, in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, the same Narada Muni actually gave him the Ashtanga process. Isn't that so?
Yes, because probably it was also the process for the yoga, but it was mixed with bhakti, because he said you perform this Astanga yoga and these austerities. It were more penances, not really the Astanga yoga, severe penances. And he said you combine it with chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And so he tricked him. You want to do your austerities, okay. But you chant also, you make a deity of the Supreme Lord. And before the deity, you do your austerities. And you chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya constantly. So that is the process of bhakti, chanting the holy name of the Lord. That it tricked him, that Dhruva Maharaj. Because that is Narada Muni. He tries to find ways to implement bhakti one way or another. And that's, we should also be inventive in that way, find ways to introduce bhakti, but of course not deviate from, without deviating from the standard process given to us by Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. Okay, does that help?
Yes, thank you, Lord.
Okay. Text 25. Can someone read 25?
Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you, who are glorified by all and whose activities are all uncommon. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, O Lord of the Transcendentalist, controller of the three modes of nature. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you again and again.
So there is a hint in there. You will perform an activity that is not a usual activity. So in fact, you are incapable of performing a usual activity because usual activities are controlled by the modes of material nature, and you are the controller of the modes of material nature. So you must going to perform something special and uncommon. I offer my respectful obeisance to you, O Lord of the Transcendentalist, a controller of the three modes of nature. So by saying that he is the controller of the three modes of material nature, is hinting that your appearance is different from any other person's appearance because they are under the control of the modes of material nature. But your appearance is for a different purpose. We are forced to come to this world, but you are not forced. You come to do something uncommon and special. So I want to watch this. I want to see the wonderful thing you are going to do. So then in 26, Brahma offers more obeisances because his position is insignificant compared to the Lord. Can someone read, please?
I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, the all-pervading Lord Vishnu, who have entered the uh, course of the heart of all living entities. All the three words reside within your navel, yet you are above the three words. Formerly, you appeared as the son of Prishni. To you, the supreme creator, who are understood only through Vedic knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisance.
The Brahma is saying here that the last time you came as a son of Prishni to give Dhruva a special benediction. But now, what are you going to do? Text 27, please. Someone else read, please.
Shall I? O my Lord, you are the beginning, the manifestation, and the ultimate dissolution of the three worlds. And you are celebrated in the Vedas as the reservoir of unlimited potencies, the Supreme Person. O my Lord, as waves attract branches and leaves that have fallen into deep water, you, the Supreme Eternal Time Factor, attract everything in this universe.
Although he has all these qualities and now this wonderful person has come. O Lord, as waves attract branches and leaves that have fallen into deep water, you, the supreme time factor. Last verse, can someone read?
My Lord, you are the original generator of all living entities, stationary or moving, and you are also the generator of the Prajapatis. O my Lord, as a boat is the only hope for a person drowning in the water, you are the only shelter for the demigods who are now bereft of their heavenly position.
Sorry.
Thus ends Bhaktivedanta purports of 8th Canto, 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Lord Agrees to Become Aditi's Son. Thank you.
It seems that Lord Brahma knows the purpose of the Lord's coming. I will now try to share a PowerPoint presentation. Just a moment, I have to prepare it. This was chapter 17. Okay. And that, good. We'll now see. Back here. Share. This is it. So, recap. So I'll move a few things. Slideshow. So the Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. So we have heard the foundational principle is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The details that we are following in Krishna consciousness are different from the details of Priyavrata, but the foundational principle of our process that we are following is the same. Naturally, if one wants to please someone, then through one's activity one thinks of that person. That is the natural result. Bhagavad Gita 80:57. In all activities just depend upon me, and work always under my protection. In such devotional service be fully conscious of me. So Krishna consciousness is a matter of consciousness. It's not a matter of externally performing the activity. It's a matter of consciousness. So Bali Maharaj was different from the demons. Internally was Krishna conscious. That text 5:6. The ecstatic symptoms are the eternal manifestation of the internal awakening of our relationship with Krishna. This is the natural consciousness of the soul. Now we have turned our back to Krishna, forgetting Krishna. The living entity has been attracted by the external energy from time immemorial. Therefore, the illusory energy Maya gives him all kinds of miseries in the material existence. So, ecstatic symptoms are the external. These are all these names which we have discussed. The Jagya Isa, a controller of sacrificial ceremonies. Jagya Purus, the person who enjoys the benefits of all sacrifices. That Tirthapat, at was lotus feet, all the holy places of pilgrimage stand. Tirthashravan, celebrated as the ultimate shelter of all saintly persons. And then we had 7 to 10. The Lord treats his devotees according to their deepest desire in their heart. He gives them buddhi and he gives them bhakti. But Aditi is only asking for an insignificant thing. Just kick out Bala Maharaj and his asuras out of the heavenly planets. Verse 12. The Lord knows everything. We may express it or not express it, but he knows. Aditi's purpose is not totally mundane. There is devotion in there. In fact, they are all devotees. So mysterious. This is quite mysterious. The Lord is giving his opinion, but his opinion means that this is reality. Why the chief of the demons were unconquerable? A mother of the demigods, in my opinion, almost all the chiefs of the demons are now unconquerable, for they are protected by Brahmins, who the Supreme Lord always favors. Thus, the use of power against them will not at all be a source of happiness. Purport. When a person is favored by Brahmins and Vaishnavas, no one can defeat him. Even the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not interfere when one is protected by a Brahmin. It is said, Go Brahmani Itayasa. The Lord's first inclination is to give all benediction to the cows and Brahmins. Therefore, if Brahmins favor someone, the Lord does not interfere, nor can anyone interfere with the happiness of such a person. So I'm just giving the essence again. the Lord's plan. The Lord has a way to fulfill Aditi's purposes. The demons are circumstantially too powerful and fighting them will be difficult. He will fulfill Aditi's desires in such a way that it is harmonious with the universal system of management. We may want so many things, but who is in the center? It is still me. Therefore, there is no bhakti in our heart, but Krishna has his plan to purify us and bring us back to the spiritual world. That plan may be quite different from our expectations. Because Aditi followed the order of the Guru, the Lord appeared, agreed to appear and fulfill our desire. The Lord's special ways. When the Lord does something, he serves many purposes, not just the purposes that we have in mind. He will remove the demons and reinstall the demigods, but he wants us also to give special mercy to Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj, he actually wants to give himself to Bali Maharaj. That's the reason, because Bali Maharaj is his pure devotee. Verse 22a, plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Plenary means completely or full. This plenary part does not diminish the Supreme Lord at all. This part is equal to the Supreme Lord. This is Ashintya Sakti. It is not material. So Krishna was in the heart already of Kashyapa Muni, is also in our heart. But that is as Paramatma, but he entered as a plenary portion. That's the difference. Srila Prabhupada, because Paramatma is not equal to Krishna, it is his expansion. Srila Prabhupada, when we chant, we should know that Krishna is there. We should sincerely try to please him, and then the potency of the transcendental sound will be effective. So this is the chapter 617, and after a pause of 50 minutes, we will start with chapter 18. Chapter 18 is also a shorter chapter, 32 verses with not so much commentaries. So we'll be able to finish it after the pause 18. So it is now 5 o'clock in Delhi, I see. So we will resume at 5:15. Thank you. Hare Krishna.